It is Tuesday, May 14th, and the Dong Report is back in your life. I'm Matt Modai, and I have three MLB home run predictions for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. Of course, before I can get into today's picks, I got to do a recap from yesterday, which unfortunately was not one of our days on the Dong Report. I gave out three picks yesterday. We did not get any of those three to hit a home run. So we were 0 for 3, down 1.5 units as I put a half unit on each of these home run predictions. It was not a great day yesterday, but there are signs that we're going to start to go on a hot streak on the Dong Report. The entire season, yeah, it's not that great. Down about a little less than 12 units on the entire season, which obviously is not great. But if you look at the data since April 21st and on, it looks a little bit better, up a little bit over 6 units in that span since April 21st, which I admit is a little bit of a random number, but that's just kind of when the hot streak started to come on the Dong Report. If you look at up until April 20th, was terrible. After that, things started to turn around. So hopefully, even though we did not get any to hit yesterday, overall, the past week was pretty good, so let's hope that we can have a better day today. If you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button, would help me out a ton. And then for this specific video, like and comment. I love reading through the comments about people that are tailing the picks that I have, or if there are home run picks that you have as well. I like reading through all of those. And then the last thing that I'll mention before I get into today's dongs is that I do have a dub club where I send everything out for $5 a month. It gets all of my plays sent directly to your phone, $4 or $5 a month, sent via text, email, or Telegram. It does give you the same plays that I give out for free on YouTube and on Twitter. They just get sent to you early. So a lot of times, by the time I record a video and then edit it and then post it, the odds will be different. So I came out with the Dub Club as a way to combat that. So the first thing I do when I decide to give out a play, the very first thing I do is send it out to Dub Club. So if you're interested in that, link to that is in the description as well as the pinned comment. But if you'd rather just wait, get everything for free on YouTube and Twitter, totally cool with me. I just wanted to give people the option. But that's enough of that. Let's see if we can get donged today. Starting in the Cubs versus Braves game, I'm taking Marcell Ozuna to hit a home run at plus 330 odds at FanDuel. So Ozuna has been somewhat of a staple on the Dong Report on the season, and he has come through for us a couple times in the past. So let's hope that we can continue that today. He hasn't hit one in 4 straight games, but prior to that, he had hit 3 in the previous 3 games, so really nothing to be scared of there. That's just kind of the ebbs and flows of how a baseball season goes. But he's still doing a really good job of barreling the ball up, hitting the ball hard, and hitting for a lot of power as well. Looking at him over the past 2 weeks, he's got an ISO rate of 27%. That's in the excellent category. A barrel rate of 21.7% as well, which is not only well within the excellent category, but is actually good for the 4th best in the entire MLB over the last 2 weeks. Now, ISO rate stands for isolated power, essentially measures power. Barrel rate measures how often you hit the barrel of the bat when you make contact, essentially measures contact. So contact plus power equals home runs, which is why I look at those so closely. There are a ton of other metrics that I look at as well, specifically that are good for home runs. Number 1, average exit velocity. How hard does the ball leave the bat when you make contact? Marcell Ozuna been hitting the cover off the baseball recently. His average exit velocity is 96.5 miles per hour. For context, the MLB.com defines a hard hit as anything 95 miles per hour and above in terms of average exit velocity. His is at 96.5%, meaning every time he makes contact with the baseball, it's considered a hard hit. That is good for the 6th best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. I also love the fact that he has a fly ball rate of 47.8%, meaning just below 50% of the time he makes contact is a fly ball. In order for a home run to be hit, generally it needs to be a fly ball, so you want to look for guys that have a high fly ball rate. I love the fact that Marcell Ozuna does. He's also going up against Jameson Taillon of the Cubs. Admittedly, if you just look at his raw stats, it doesn't look like Taillon gives up that many home runs, but I think that's a sign more of luck than anything else. I do think that the home runs are going to start to come off of Taillon. For starters, he's a right-handed pitcher. Marcell Ozuna crushes right-handed pitching this season. 9 of his 12 home runs this year have come against righties. His ISO rate is up to 32% on the entire season against righties, and that is up from about 27% against lefties. So yeah, he's excellent whether it's a right or left-handed pitcher, but he's better against righties. Makes sense, right? He's got a higher fly ball rate, a higher pull rate against right-handed pitching. Those are 2 good numbers for home runs. And as I mentioned, Taillon hasn't given up a ton of home runs this year, but he is allowing a fly ball rate of 51, a fly ball rate of 51.2%, and a pull rate of 47.6% against right-handed hitters. Those are really, really bad numbers for giving up home runs. So I think that, again, the home runs are going to start to fly off of Tyone. Hopefully one of them is Marcell Ozuna. That's our first play. Next up, Athletics versus Astros game. I'm taking Kyle Tucker to hit a home run at plus 400 odds at FanDuel. I really don't understand what the books are doing. FanDuel is pricing this at plus 400 odds. Kyle Tucker has been absolutely on fire, but I will gladly take advantage of it. Kyle Tucker has hit 6 home runs in the last 14 days. That is the most in the MLB over the 14-day stretch. The next closest guy has 5. He's the only one that has 6. Because of that, and this all makes sense, but he's got a ridiculous ISO rate of 46.3%. That's good for second best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. And he has a barrel rate of 16.7% as well. So another example where we're backing a batter that is excellent in terms of ISO rate and barrel rate. And for Kyle Tucker, in terms of ISO rate, literally the second best in the MLB. Further than that, Kyle Tucker has excellent home run advanced stats. He has a fly ball rate of 60%. That's crazy. 60% of the time he makes contact, it's considered a fly ball. That's the third highest in the MLB over the last 2 weeks, with a very good pull rate of 46.7% as well. Generally, for fly ball rate and pull rate, anything 45% and above is good. Anything 50% and above is pretty excellent. So 60% fly ball rate and 46.7% pull rate. That's awesome. And he's got a very good average exit velocity of 94.8 miles per hour. Now, it's not quite averaging a hard hit every time he makes contact, but it's close. And that 94.8 number, that's good for 19th best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. He's also got a hard hit percentage of 60%. Another awesome number, good for 15th best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. So I just gave you a bunch of numbers. All you really need to know about all those numbers is that Kyle Tucker equals good for home runs. And again, we're getting it at plus 400 odds, and it's not like he's going up against a good pitcher either. He's going up against J.P. Sears of the Athletics, and J.P. Sears stinks. Admittedly, he does give up more home runs to right-handed hitters than lefties, and Kyle Tucker is a lefty. But looking at his advanced numbers, kind of similar to Jameson Taillon, there are reasons to believe that the home runs are going to come specifically for left-handed hitters against J.P. Sears. He's allowing a fly ball rate of 53.6% against lefties. That's really bad. He's allowing a barrel rate of 9.5%. That's really bad. A hard hit percentage of 43.8%. That's really bad. Those are both essentially bottom 15, bottom 16 in the entire MLB in terms of barrel rate and hard hit rate. So I love Kyle Tucker. The plus 400 odds I think is great odds. That's our second play. Third up, final pick of the video, Pirates versus Brewers. O'Neal Cruz, plus 450 odds at Fanatics. I'm going right back to Cruz, even though he did not. So I went with him yesterday, for those of you that did not tune into that. He did not hit one yesterday, but he hit 3 absolute missiles that I feel incredibly comfortable going back to him today. Of the game yesterday, Pirates versus Brewers, he had 3 of the top 4 hardest hits of the entire game yesterday. He just couldn't quite get the launch angle right, so he wasn't able to send 1 yard. But if you consistently hit the baseball the way he's been hitting, he's going to go on an absolute home run binge. And the hope here is that we get him tonight. And it's not just that he's hitting the ball hard either, right? Like, he has shown the ability to hit home runs. He's got 4 home runs over the last 2 weeks. That's a pretty good number. ISO rate of 41%. Barrel rate of 19.4%. 2 numbers that are both in the excellent category. That ISO rate of 41%, that's good for the 4th best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. That barrel rate of 19.4%, that's good for 11th best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. But even more than that, I mentioned he's been hitting the cover off the baseball. His average exit velocity is 99.9 miles per hour. Essentially, every time he hits the baseball, it is leaving his bat at about 100 miles per hour, which is crazy. That is good for 2nd best in the MLB over this span. The only player above him is Aaron Judge, who's also been hitting the cover off the baseball recently. And it's even other advanced stats look good for him as well. It's not just average exit velocity. He's got a hard hit rate, 61.3%. That's good for 11th best in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. A pull rate, 54.8%. Another really good number there. Now, in terms of the pitching matchup, he's going up against the Joe Ross of the Brewers. Admittedly, a pretty decent pitcher, but one that I think Cruz should be able to match. And Joe Ross is a right-handed pitcher, and Cruz is much better, hits for much better power against right-handed pitching, right? 5 of his 7 home runs on the year have come against righties. His ISO rate against righties is 20.4%. That's in the great, not excellent category, but it's up from his ISO rate of 14% against lefties. So he hits for below average power against lefties, great power against righties. And Joe Ross is kind of similar to Jameson Taillon, where he hasn't given up a ton of home runs in general, but similar to all 3 pitchers we talked about. Reasons to believe that that's going to change. Joe Ross allows a barrel rate of 9.3%, a hard hit percentage of 39.8%. Both of these are pretty bad. He also allows a fly ball ratio of 41.4% as well. That shows, in my opinion, that the home runs, if you're giving up a lot of power, or excuse me, a hard contact, hard hits, and a high fly ball rate, home runs are going to start to fly off of that pitcher. Let's hope it starts tonight with O'Neal Cruz. And that's all we got. 3 home run predictions for you guys to lock in. We just need 1 of these 3 to hit a home run, and we will at least be in the green. If all 3 hit a home run, we will be rich. So let's hope for that. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Make sure to check out the Dub Club if you are interested. And that's all we got. So again, appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.